Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a social connections coach for the late diagnosed autistic adult, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. On this episode, we're going to be talking about shrinking yourself, people pleasing, and how some of those relationships absolutely do not serve you, and what to do when you feel like they don't. Are you ready? Let's go. The biggest struggle that I had when unmasking, really connecting with myself, understanding more about who I am, what I'm looking for in other people, is my relationships with other people. Who I was in reference to them. And a lot of people constantly come to me for this. They ask me about this. Like, how do I stop people pleasing? How do I stop shrinking myself? How do I let go of relationships that don't serve me? And I'm with you because these are questions I've asked myself for decades. Because, being conditioned to actually feel like you have to help other people or they won't like you, then it's kind of hard to unlearn that. So you got to go through this whole process of really unlearning it. I mean, I've gone through the process and it is not fun. You see these 6 words: stop shrinking, stop pleasing, and start releasing. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's easier said than done, but it is possible. And if you want to live an authentically genuine life where you're surrounded by people who really care and support you, then you have to be able to do those things. So let's talk about it, because me personally, I gave up. I remember from my very beginning, I was in middle school and grade school, elementary school, and I would just give things to people because I realized that they would talk to me more. But they would only talk to me for a couple of seconds. They wouldn't want to stay and engage in conversation with me. I turned out to be one of those kids. I 5th grade, when we had recess and we actually got to go outside, I had a ball, one of those bouncy balls that I would bring for recess, and people would want to play. They'd want to play kickball, and they would want to get together, and they didn't want to play with me, though. They didn't want to play with me. So I wanted to take my ball and go home. Like, okay, well, you don't appreciate me. But then I felt this immense pressure because people would just make fun of me even more. They're like, oh, you just want to take your ball and go home. You're selfish. And I'm like, but you just want to use, now thinking about it, not then. I mean, I didn't think deeply about it, but I was hurt that they really would rather take my things instead of really play with me, and that feeling or that sentiment or that pattern of behavior continued on throughout my life. Okay, so if I have something and people want it, but they don't want anything to do with me, if I don't give them the thing, then they're going to make fun of me, they're going to push me away, and they're never going to like me. And so it's best to actually give them the ball so they can play and do their thing, and I could be a part of their experience because I gave them something to have the experience. Otherwise, if I didn't have a ball for them to play with, if I didn't allow them to play with the ball, then they wouldn't be able to play. So go me. They need to show me gratitude. I'm doing something awesome here. You know what I'm saying? You know how you feel what I'm saying? So doing things like that, shrinking myself, hiding how I really felt about the experience, hiding little things that would push them away from me is what I did. And I gave up what I think that they needed so that they would keep me around. They didn't want to play kickball with me the next week or the week after that. Heck no. They just wanted the ball. And then as soon as somebody else bought a ball, as soon as someone else brought one, I was done. I was out. They'd rather do something else. And how incredibly hurtful that is. How incredibly hurtful. So, are you in people-pleasing mode? What are you doing? Are you saying yes when you want to say no? Yeah? I feel that. There's that peer pressure. There's that desire to be needed, to be wanted. Are you mirroring other people so you'll be accepted? Are you hiding your real feelings? I'm just going to do what other people do. I'm going to go along to get along, because if I speak up, or if I say I don't like, or even if I act as if I really do love whatever is happening, they're going to tell me to calm down. It shouldn't be that serious, right? They don't want you to express your feelings the way you would naturally express them, and you won't express those feelings the way you naturally would express them, because you know the reaction from the people who will see your experience or see your feelings are not gonna like it. So you hide yourself. People pleasing. Do you feel anxious or exhausted with being around certain people? Anxious and exhausted. Anxious because maybe you've spent a lifetime, like I have, worrying about how other people are going to perceive you. And even before you enter the conversation or you make the connection with the other person, you already are you're already hyper alert. You're already very aware, hyper vigilant, watching for what you're going to do wrong, watching for their signs, watching for how they are perceiving you. It's exhausting. You haven't even had a conversation with them yet. If you're meeting new people, you haven't even talked to them yet. You haven't even picked up the phone. You haven't even sent the text message. It's exhausting. But then, for the people that you actually know, when you hang out with them, do you feel exhausted because you have done all this hypervigilant kind of work? You've been thinking about what they might say. You've been on pins and needles, observing, watching for every eyebrow raise, every lip curl, every weird side eye, every laugh, and analyzing it constantly. Oh, your brain is going to explode. Whew. I know how that feels. It's exhausting. And maybe it only happens with certain people. Maybe it happens at work. Maybe it happens with your family members. Maybe it happens with certain friends, because they're always critical about what you wear and what you say and how you say it and what you like. But you still hang out with them. No shame here. It's just what we do. We're just observing ourselves and noticing. Why the heck did we do that? Well, because we don't want to be alone. We've discovered, like I said before, we've discovered that, look, if I don't give, I don't get. If I don't show up the way they want me to, I'm going to be lost. I'm going to be alone. Nobody's going to like me. You can't have that happen, right? So here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this idea of letting go of these relationships. And the biggest thing is that there's shame attached to it. You've been friends with them for so many years, decades. They're family members. You can't let go because you're a bad person. You always want to help. Whatever narrative that is floating around in your head, I want to help you reframe this idea from cutting people off to conscious releasing. Cutting people off. Chop, chop. I used to say that a whole lot. Chop, chop, cut people off. But I want to put something out here that is more of centered around you. And this is conscious releasing. So it's not about revenge or punishment or just complete cold detachment. I'm punishing you because you have hurt me so much. You've just taken from me. Hey, if you feel like that, it's understandable. But it's much like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That anger and that frustration that lives inside of you doesn't do anything to help you build good relationships with the next person. So this is not about revenge. It's not about punishment. It's not about cold detachment from other people. It's really about you looking at yourself and saying, I've got self-respect. And my nervous system is completely shot by being so anxious and so exhausted around you. I've got to take care of myself. I'm gonna take care of myself, right? So who do we release? So we've got this new mindset, conscious releasing. Look, I'm taking care of myself. Who are these people in your life that you could release? Well, there are three types of people. One, those who only accept the masked version of you. They only accept that person that shows up the way they want them to show up. So whatever performance you're doing, whatever pretending you're doing, whatever jokes you're holding in or thoughts that you won't share, whatever version of you you're being to connect with them, if you happen to show them a little peek under that mask and they react like, oh my God, oh my God, what is that? They don't like it. They like, put it away. Stop being yourself. Be that person I want you to be. That person right there. That person right there is a person to release. At the very least, create some space between you and that person. If they're over all the time, no. If they're texting, calling, draining your energy, no. We're not doing that. Create some space. The second one is those who drain your energy and dismiss your needs. I'm just talking about draining energy, but they dismiss your needs. So, hey, you're showing up and you have finally decided that you needed some help. You call them up and you say, hey, I've got this big problem or I've got something going on. And they say it's not a big deal. Wait a minute. You're supposed to be a friend to support me here. What's going on? Right? You're supposed to be a family member who wants to help me. What's going on? If they dismiss your needs, if you even tell them that you didn't want their advice, right? I mean, I've called many people, I've texted people, and they've gone into a story about how I could have done something better or what I should have, could have, would have done. I didn't want to hear that. My need right now is for you to hold space and listen to me. And if you tell them something along those lines, you say, hey, I don't want your advice. I really just want you to listen. They were like, I can't listen. I'm a fixer. I'm a person who solves problems. I don't have time for this. Oh, I see. But I really need that. I don't need your advice. I really need to process my feelings right now. They're not hearing you. Create some space. Conscious releasing. The third one is those people who make you feel smaller instead of being seen. This is a big one for me. It's a big one. When you share something that's joyful, fun, and exciting and interesting to you and they poo-poo it, it's a really big sign. It's a really big sign. They like to make sure that you don't feel, well, I don't want to go in that direction. I don't want to make up people's intentions. You might just know that from the feeling that you get from talking to them in the first place. You don't feel great talking to them. You don't feel like you want to share anything because they're not interested, they don't understand it, or they don't support it. Those people make you feel smaller instead of making you feel seen. Those are three types of people to release. And I want to tell you, if you're going to do this, you don't need to be dramatic about it. You don't need to announce that you're leaving. It just creates a lot of issues. Definitely. A lot of conflict. The next thing you want to do is, think about how it doesn't need to be dramatic and just be a little ghost with it. Now, people get mad at me because I say ghost, but I'm like, goodbye, ghost. Shh, just move on out. Just disappear. Silence is good enough. It's good enough. Because I don't have, many of my clients don't have the capacity to deal with the fact that people are going to fight with you. They're going to dismiss you. They're going to say your feelings don't matter. And they say it's all your fault. You're going to get all riled up and be all anxious and angry and frustrated because you had to just say goodbye to them. You get locked in this pattern. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Right? And Like I said, it's not about punishment, but it's about honoring yourself. So you can appreciate the experience that you've had with them. They're not terrible people. You just are moving in a new direction and starting to feel more like yourself. You want to express yourself more authentically without being hurt, dismissed. And you have to make that internal decision to do so, right? So when you make that internal decision to start releasing people and you actually go through the actions, I guarantee you're going to start feeling a lot lighter. You're going to start trusting yourself a lot more because there's nobody there to tell you you're doing it wrong. There's nobody there to laugh at you to help you feel insecure. There's nobody there to dismiss you to keep you wondering and questioning. You will trust yourself a lot more. And then you're going to attract the people who respect you. They will respect who you are because you're showing up authentically. And if they do not like what they see, you don't crumble. You don't crumble. Nobody will ever tell you that you're too much and you hang out in that space anymore. You're over it. You're taking your ball and you're going home no matter what people say. You don't care. Because other people want to hang out with you. They want to play with you. They want to experience life with you. They want to have a lot of fun. They want to know you authentically. They want to support you in their dreams. And they want that support from you. So you're going to meet people who will respect you, appreciate you, and accept you. But you have to start making that shift for yourself internally. And the best way to do it is to start looking around in your circle and seeing who is draining my energy. Who am I shrinking for? Ask yourself, what would I do differently if I believed I didn't have to please anyone to be loved? What would you do? I've got something new for you, and I think you're going to love it. If you've ever struggled to say no, or felt drained by certain relationships, or wondered if you're being your authentic self with others, I created a quick boundaries quiz just for you. It'll help you uncover your boundary style and masking style to show you exactly where you might be holding back or giving too much. Head over to patternsofpossibility.com to take the quiz today because it's free, it's new, and it might just shift how you show up in every relationship. Again, check out patternsofpossibility.com or the link in the show notes. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. So this person writes, I just realized something. I actually like being alone. I was isolated as a child and teenager, and my first real friend group was in college. When COVID struck, I lost those friends. I also tried putting myself out there on dating apps for years because I subconsciously wanted to feel wanted. This past weekend, I attended an anime convention. I was supposed to meet up with a couple of people, but I ultimately decided I didn't want to because I wanted to explore the con by myself. And then it hit me just last night that I loved being by myself. There was no one there to tell me what to do or where to go, and I could just do whatever I wanted on my own schedule. I spent so much of my life forcing connections and ultimately failing because I didn't fit in socially. I could never find someone on the same wavelength as me or someone who truly understood me past the surface level. But now, I'm embracing being alone and doing things by myself. I don't want to go out and meet new people. I don't want to hang out with others knowing my social battery will be depleted within a couple of hours. Maybe this is regression, or maybe I'm just realizing that I was abusing my social bandwidth because I felt that I needed a social life. Now, I like this because I like to be alone. I like to spend time. I like to spend time by myself and doing things that bring me joy. So I resonate with this for sure. I love this for this person who's realizing that they really like themselves and they are amazing. That's what I like. I love it. I mean, it's dope. It's great. And if you're in that space too, where you're just like, you know what, I just like doing things by myself. And, one of the big things about this is that they're not running away from, it doesn't seem like they are running away from building relationships with other people because of the fear that they would be rejected. It doesn't seem like that at the top. It seems more like they just like being able to have their own space and do things that bring them joy and not consider other people's feelings at all. Just consider what they want. And I highly recommend, and I think everybody needs to go through this process if you're trying to connect with people authentically, is to spend time alone, getting to know yourself and what you like, what you want, and being comfortable with doing those things. Because otherwise, if you're with a group of people, or just even with one person with an extremely strong sense of self, or just someone who has some of the things that they want in life figured out, they're going to drag you along with them. You don't want to go to a concert, but they really want you to go, then you're like, well, I guess I should because they're my friend. And even though I don't like death metal, even though I don't like concerts, even though I'd rather be reading a book, I'm going to go with them to be supportive because that's what friends do. And you're going to hate it because you don't want to be there. You know that much about yourself, but you don't have the conviction to just not go. Or if you are dedicated to reading books and you love them, you have a favorite author that's coming into town, and you're like, hey, same friend, I went to that rock concert with you, come with me to this book signing. And they're huffy puffy, making fun of stuff, not really interested, not really vibing with it, not understanding how important this book and this author is to you, and you drag them along. It's not going to be a fun time for you. And you're only doing it because you don't want to be alone. You're only doing it because you believe that you should share an experience with somebody who is a friend. Listen, you're only going to find people who really understand and appreciate you after you really understand and appreciate yourself. And I think this person is going through that experience where they're just like, I just like doing things. I love it. But on the other hand, I don't know how old this person is, but I know that it gets to a point where you definitely need community. You don't need everybody to go do everything with you, but you definitely need people to know that you're alive. You do. You need people to look out for you, to support you, to help you when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, when you've lost your job, when you're getting married or having some kind of life change. You need somebody to help you resolve arguments or issues with yourself, to help you make these decisions that feel bigger than yourself. You need a reflection of yourself. That's a person out there who understands you. You need those people. And you don't feel it. You may not feel it in your 20s, maybe not even your early 30s, but when life starts hitting you fast and then you get over your 30s into your 40s, into your 50s, you really start facing life changes in which you really need support. So what I just want to say here for this person, they realize that they actually like being alone. Heck yeah. I love it. I'm there too. But if you don't have some people that know that you're alive and they're checking on you, knows your routine, knows what's going on in your life, people just won't notice when you're not around. People just won't notice when you really need help. And it's worth it to make the effort to build relationships with people who will notice you, who will support you, who will help you when you need it. And it's not like you have to see them every day, but they should know of you and your well-being. So just keep that in mind. Those of you who are out there learning more about yourself, liking your loneliness, or liking your alone time, rather not loneliness, but liking your alone time. Still come back. Still connect. I hope this helps. Best of luck to you. And finally, I appreciate you being a listener. If you got something of value out of this podcast, please share it with other people and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening app. We'll see you next time. Take care.